Very early on in my animal communication adventures, I had had an opportunity to talk to dogs and to cats, but I was really curious if I could talk to horses or not. And so I sort of invited myself over to my friend Natalie's house. She was about 15 years old, had two horses, and asked if she would let me practice seeing if I could connect with her horses or not. And she was very happy to do that and very gracious. And so I went over, and they were in the corral, and I'm a little afraid of horses. I don't really know that much about them. So I stood on the outside of the fence, and I just sent out my thoughts to them, first to Thumper and then to Dusty, the older horse. And we had a wonderful conversation. We talked about, the farrier, and do they like him better than the previous farrier, and why does Thumper not like to get into the horse trailer, and about fly spray, and about all kinds of stuff that I don't know about horses. So it was a really great reading for me, because I had lots of validation that I wasn't making it up, because we were talking about stuff I didn't even know about. My favorite two things out of that reading, though, one was that when we talked to Dusty, the older horse, Natalie was curious whether Dusty enjoyed their dressage riding lessons. And so when I sent that question out to Dusty in my mind, what he replied back was, well, the instructor's kind of hard. She claps at me. And I just looked at Natalie and I said, the instructor claps at him? And she said, well, yeah, if he comes up to a jump and he hesitates, she comes up behind him and goes, bam, and gives a big clap to get him moving again. So that was really cute. At the very end of this long conversation, we probably talked for an hour and a half with me and Natalie and the two horses. We were just sort of signing off, and I was still connecting with Dusty, at least I thought I was, and he showed me an image of looking down toward the ground at a left front hoof that was cracked. Well, I didn't even know a hoof could get cracked. So I mentioned it to Natalie, and she said, I don't think any of their hoofs are cracked, but I'll check on it. I'll get back to you and let you know. So a couple hours later that afternoon, she called me, and she said, I checked all 8 of their hoofs, and they're fine. But I got thinking, and I took a look at the horse over the fence in the next pasture, I guess you'd say, corral, and that horse that belonged to the neighbors, that horse's left front hoof was cracked so badly that it was bleeding. And I still wonder to this day. It was a wonderful gift from whoever sent that message, whether it was that other horse or Dusty, because then Natalie could go next door and tell her neighbors, and they could help the horse. They were not aware that there was a problem like that. But I still wonder to this day whether it was Dusty who told me the other horse had a problem, or whether I maybe got that message from the other horse himself or herself. I guess I'll never know.